thank you.
Hello everyone, it's me Samuel Taylor Ackroyd and a very good afternoon from London Stansted Airport. I have just arrived at the terminal by taking one of the buses that goes from the Premier Inn Hotel at Stansted Airport to the terminal, which costed me £4, and tonight I will be flying back home to Edinburgh with Ryanair UK on board one of their Boeing 737-800s. Stansted Airport is approximately 40 minutes northeast of the City of London, but it's fairly easy to get to thanks to the coaches that go from the city to the airport and the Stansted Express train. After checking out the area surrounding Stansted Airport a bit, it feels like the airport is basically in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, when arriving by bus, it's fairly easy to find your way into the terminal building, which is massive compared to most UK airports. Such high ceilings and plenty of natural lighting is provided. It's also nice to finally be able to travel from Stansted Airport, as I have wanted to visit this airport for a while, and I finally managed to do so to do some plane spotting, videos of which are already on my channel. After seeing a lot of videos of people travelling from Stansted and plane spotting there, and hearing mixed opinions about the airport, I wanted to try it for myself. The Ryanair bag drop area is right at the far end of the building, right beside security, which I was able to go straight to as I didn't have any luggage to check in and I had a mobile boarding pass. Security took just over 10 minutes to clear, and I must say, the staff in security were some of the nicest people I've ever encountered. They managed to get through everyone while also striking up conversations with them and smiling, so I'm definitely loving Stansted Airport so far. After security, it's a short walk to the duty-free store, but before duty-free, there are the toilets, a WH Smith, and a big departure board. I didn't spend any time looking in duty-free and just headed straight to the main departure lounge. A long walk through duty-free later, and I made it to the departure lounge, and of course it's not a London airport without a Hamleys, is it? Not only that, but Stansted Airport's departure lounge has one of the biggest amount of shops and restaurants I've seen out of basically every airport I have flown out of. So you're definitely spoilt for choice at Stansted. There is a seating area in the departure lounge, however it's clearly difficult to find a seat as it's very busy, so a family travelling together will probably struggle to find somewhere to sit in this seating area. There is a shuttle that takes you to gates 1 through 39 if that's one of the gates that your flight departs from, which was not the case for me tonight. After exploring the terminal a bit, I decided to visit the Camden restaurant for some dinner, and I had some fish and chips as well as a few ciders while waiting for my flight. After spending a few hours looking around the shops to pass some time, as well as have a few drinks, I decided to visit the Krispy Kreme stall in the departure lounge and treat myself to some donuts. Now, I'd just like to mention that I was only planning on ordering a box of 4 donuts. However, the lady at the stall gave me a box of 12 for the price of 4, as the stall was about to close and she didn't want them to go to waste, which was super nice of her to do for me. And no, if you're wondering, I did not have all 12 donuts. I had the 4 that I got for myself and decided to give the other 8 to the crew on my flight back to Edinburgh. I must say that every staff member interaction I had during my time at Stansted Airport is not what I'm used to, as I don't usually get smiles or conversations while going through security, nor do I get given 8 free donuts, plus the selection of shops and restaurants at Stansted is massive compared to other airports I've travelled from. So I think it's safe to say that I absolutely love Stansted Airport. Eventually, I made my way towards Gate 85, where we would be boarding our flight tonight, and it wasn't long before boarding commenced. The aircraft flying me back home to Edinburgh would be this Boeing 737-800, registered as Golf-Romeo Uniform Kilo India, which at the time was 17 years old. This 737 is equipped with the newer Ryanair seats, and my seat on this flight is seat 7F. The boarding process didn't take too long, and we were soon pushing back to get ready to head to Edinburgh, though as it was night time there isn't a lot to see, but here is the takeoff from Stansted Airport's runway 04. For the record, when I boarded the aircraft, I quickly gave the crew the box of the 8 remaining donuts I was given as a gift, and they were thrilled that I did this for them. It's probably not often the crew gets given gifts like that, so they were very appreciative, and I definitely put some smiles on their faces. Now for a quick look at the seat. Legroom on Ryanair's 737-800s that have the newer seats is pretty decent for someone roughly 6 feet tall. The tray tables on the newer Ryanair seats aren't really that big, but you can still have food and drinks placed on them. And finally, the safety cards are printed onto the backs of the seats. When the crew came around with the food and drink service, I opted for a cup of tea, which I was given for free as a thank you for the gifted donuts. The bathrooms on board were clean and in good working order, which is all I can really say about the bathrooms. During the flight, I got chatting to the crew up at the front of the aircraft, who were more than happy with the donuts I gave them, and they were also interested to hear about the day trip I took to fly down to Stansted Airport just to do some plane spotting and then go back home, as well as other things that I ended up discussing with them. And they also helped arrange a flight deck visit after we landed as another way of saying thank you for the donuts. This crew definitely seemed to like me. Anyway, it wasn't long before we started descending, meaning that this flight was sadly coming to an end. For me, this wasn't just a typical Ryanair experience of getting from A to B, but a flight I'll remember for years to come, as I don't usually give the crew gifts on flights I take, but this was an exception. But that's thanks to the kind lady who was running the Krispy Kreme stall back at Stansted Airport, who didn't want to see the donuts go to waste, and who can blame her? It kind of felt like I had made some new friends, both on the flight and at Stansted Airport, as everyone I interacted with was in good spirits. Say what you want about London's Stansted Airport, but I love it, and I will definitely return at some point. But sadly, this trip is coming to an end and we landed onto runway 24 at Edinburgh Airport, but as it was dark, there wasn't anything to film while on approach. With that, welcome home. I wouldn't normally say this in a trip report, but this experience with Ryanair is proof that karma is a real thing. Since I did something good for the crew, they did something good for me by giving me a free cup of tea and helping arrange a flight deck visit after landing. So this flight made me feel good, but it's also thanks to the staff working at Stansted, who also provided the best customer service I have ever experienced at an airport, both in security and in the departure lounge. As for the seat, it is good enough for short hops like this, and you definitely get more legroom on Ryanair 737-800s that have the newer and thinner seats. The toilet was also in good working order as well. No faults on this flight whatsoever. The price was also amazing value for money, as the base fare costed just £14.99, and I also paid an extra £10 to select seat 7F, so I paid a total of £24.99, which for a flight between Edinburgh and a London airport is outstanding value for money, but do remember that the base fare of just £14.99 only allowed me to bring a bag that fits under the seat in front of mine on board, which is why it was so cheap. Now, after my flight deck visit, it turned out that they had closed the door into the terminal building as I was still on board, but the dispatcher opened it for me, so I wasn't stuck there. But that's my fault, I suppose, for visiting the flight deck.
Okay, that's everyone.
Wait here. I bring you up. They closed the door already. Just.
Thanks so much Ryanair for this fantastic flight, and I'm sure the crew would say the same thing to me after gifting them a treat. Stay safe and I will see you all in the next video.